Right, that's that counted up. That should be adverts over. Sunday sharp do 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 do. Sunday sharp do 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 do. Sunday sharp do 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 do. Ah, well, hello. Welcome. Bonjour, buongiorno, ciao, konnichiwa, good afternoon, and all the other random ones that I can't remember. How are we today? Happy Eostre. Let's get the name right. It's been around for thousands of years. So, first here, yellow, just outside the back door there. I can see him windmilling at me from here. So remember, subscribe and ring the bell. As the algorithm stuff does things. Dennis isn't here, Mr. Bigfoot. And Scully's here. And Andrew's here, Porky friend. Aquilia, yes indeed. Marit, my darling, how are you? Mwah. Hug. Hope you're feeling a bit better, Andrew. Sorry. Got home from work yesterday, rushed around, got all my jobs done, sat down, and was like, oh, never mind. Not to be helped. No. Phone beeped at me, so I was just wondering what it was. No worries. If you're not well, you're not well. These things can hit us at very short notice. We don't always get warning that, oh, I feel a bit rough, or I feel a bit more rough. Big Steve, hello. Oh dear, Marit's had a bug as well. In that case, get well kiss from across the sea, so I don't catch it. I've actually had a healthy week. It's kind of weird. I say healthy. Yeah. I had to go to work, which is always decidedly unhealthy, especially when you have an early start. Yes, I know 10 o'clock is not an early start. It is for me. I normally start around about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, not 10 o'clock in the morning. Yes, I'm vaguely human, we'll go with. And it's that how it is in retail at this time of year, when halfway through, well, either on the Friday or halfway through Saturday, people realise shops are going to be shut on the Sunday, so they all rush out to get all the things they desperately need, which is a lot worse in food retail than it is in hardware retail. But yes, there were a lot of big, heavy things like lawn scarifiers and lawn mowers and large tubs of paint, and quite a lot went out the door. So bonus. Plus, I'm working both bank holidays. It's a double time. Result. Fishy wise this week, not a huge amount gone on. We did remove a batch of super red bristlenoses eggs, because we don't want the 150 super red bristly noses to try and sell on when we've still got 400 of them. Give us a like spike, yay. Hello Sherry. Yes, getting paid. I don't do anything remotely teeth in. I don't do anything remotely resembling work if I'm not getting paid for it. As soon as I've clocked out, that's it. No more from me. If I ain't getting paid, I ain't doing it. It is that simple. If you want me to clock back in and pay me overtime rate to do it, then I might do it. And Andrew did manage to find a garden centre open. They have a They have an aquatic shop attached. Most of them do these days. And yeah, cold water fish are getting pricey because, here's the shocker, energy prices have gone up. So people are worried about the cost of energy, and a lot of people are switching from tropical to cold water aquariums, which means the demand is there for them now. Happy Easter, Angelique. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Good to see you again. Or Eostre, as it was originally known here, before Emperor Constantine of Rome decided that, you know what we really need to do? We really need to stop these pagans celebrating. So, yeah, let's just coincide another Christian belief with it. Just here the chocolate egg we got for it. It's all right. Mary got me plenty. I got chocolate for at least a day, and the egg is ribbed for pleasure. I've never seen one before. It's a ribbed Easter egg, and no, I'm not going to try. But let's say, if you're eating chocolate eggs, Andrew, that means you're feeling a bit better. So bonus, and it'll give you energy and build your strength back up. So don't feel bad. Let's be honest. The last thing I really need is more chocolate. Howdy, Clark. Oh, pardon me. My mind's always in the gutter, but if your mind is going along with mine, Sherry, then gutter thoughts welcome. Yeah, so I don't know if it's a thing in America where you have a garden centre. Oh, I corrupt everyone, Sherry. Don't worry about it. Most people are completely innocent and wondrously nice and never have a nasty thought until they meet me. And then they suddenly become evil as well. Pure filth. But yeah, so in the UK, most garden centres, or I'd assume you have a similar thing in America, place where you go to buy plants, but they usually also have like clothes and like a little artisan-y posh snacks bit and a pet bit and a fish bit in the UK at least. And some of them you can have some quite interesting flavours of fish in. Yeah, admittedly, most from it's guppies, goldfish, danios, platies, bristlenoses, yeah, African chicklets. Oh, nicely done, Yella. Happy birthday to Funk. Apparently, I smell like cocoa butter. Which you would know, Funk, because you have been sniffing me a lot lately. But I wouldn't have said I smell like cocoa butter. Caca butter, maybe. Good to see you, Funk Meister. How are you? Happy Easter to yourself, Lady Funk, and the Funklets. So I don't know if that's a thing in the States with the garden centres and having all the pets and the fishies, but as I say, you do get some interesting species in them. Not necessarily the healthiest of fish, because generally there's one person who runs the fishy park who knows what they're doing, likely the person who breeds most of the fish, and then you get your general employee who just knows how to get a fish in a net and in a bag, and that's about their the limit of their knowledge. So sometimes they can be healthy, sometimes they can be not too well. Yeah, I bought some that have literally lasted a week. They also tend to generally be quite cheap as well. Oh, Marit's lurking on the phone. Lurk away, my dear. So that's you got the scratch and sniff Android phone. That's cool. Just don't get it confused with your nuts, because you don't want to be sniffing that. But, I'm wondering how long it is before something like that does happen. I'm not scratch and sniff, but it'd probably be something. It had to be some really weird concoction of chemicals that you had to plug into your device, and then it puffs out the right scents at you at the right times. And I can imagine that going wrong fairly quickly. But it's cheap up north, all Maidenhead aquatic spring garden centres. Oh, now Julie got a snake. As I don't know you that well, I'm not going to go with the obvious joke that sprang to mind. It's not cheap up north. Yeah, I mean, the one Maidenhead around here is in what happens to be the most expensive garden centre around here. So their rent is rather high. And yes, the fish prices can be rather high as well, but you get what you pay for as well, and the fish are always healthy there. It's fun until you wander onto the OnlyFans page. I can imagine. It smells a bit like a North Sea trawler, I reckon. Combination of cod, herring, and crabs. Funk since the spam link is broken. That's because Funk posted pictures of his face on it. That will break that. That'll break anything. Oh dear. This is the thing. People think me and Funk have got some kind of beef going on. We don't. Not at all. Not in the slightest. We just rip each other as a sign of affection. Howdy, Bruiser. Funk's got that similar kind of British sentiment to taking the mickey out your mates. Whereas if I said, good evening, insert Funk's actual name, how are you, and insert names of actual family members, I hope you're wonderful, he'd probably get worried. Fish okay, no problems, birds are good, had a wasp as a guest. Ooh, wasps, I'm allergic to them. Nasty things. I mean, they do good. do. But yeah, they get rid of all the dead stuff. So they do have a use. They're not just annoying, stingy bastards. They do good. Yeah, I did the double do again. And Andrew's lurking while he eats Sunday tea that Donna just bought him. Hi Donna, fish lady, how are you? Oh, there we go. There's the fish fam link to Aqua Funk with all his anglefish. Let's face it, other than a lady funk, that's the closest it's ever going to get to an angel, is the fish. Oh yes, I've been waiting for a while to use that one. One of these days I might get some angel fish, see what we whether we can breed some, but just have another species to tick off the I have red list. One that's a crazy big, so one drooning as big as my pinky. Yes, we get them. We get them over here too. And yeah, when the big buzzy thing is as big as your pinky, and the stinger is half the length of its body, you're like, I'll leave that one alone. But generally, they're pretty chill. They're not aggressive. They just buzz about and do what they're going to do. If you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. This is always a bit of a surprise when you do see one. They are huge. Just glad I've not time travelled back to the Jurassic era or whichever era it was, when the wasps were like 2 feet 60 centimeters long. No, no, don't want to know. Not interested. You know, I can deal with T-Rex and Megalodon. You keep that 2 foot wasp away from me. Yeah, it's not good. Nasty things. I've seen honeybees around lately, so that's a good sign. And back doors open because it's nice and warm, and the frogs have shut up finally in the back garden. So there's no more constantly. Oh, look at that! Yeah, see, Funk's getting jealous now as I run my fingers through my hair. Last time Funk did that, it squeaked. Oh, I love you, really, Funk. Um, I'm just making the most of what I've got while I've got it, because there's not a lot left up there. So, what type of snake did you get then, Angelique? Now I've now I've overcome the age to make a really bad joke about it. What kind of danger noodle or nope rope, as they get called? Or belt is the other one I've heard and used. And again, no, I don't have Trump hands. This is just a very big can of Red Bull. Although I did think about that when I saw the pictures of him in court this week. But if they put handcuffs on, can they do them up tight enough that they don't slip over his tiny little hands? Probably don't need to. He's not exactly going to run very far, is he? Yeah, on the list of people you can't see escaping from custody, uh, kind of stands out, a bit obvious. Um, no, it's one of those things where it's almost enough to make you proud of the British political system. At least ours don't end up in court too often. Um, there's still that thing about Tony Blair and war crimes for Iraq, which seems to have blown over for now. Um, ironically enough, Iraq. The ground and the land where the baby Jeebus came from would have been born. Yes. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it, really? So he didn't turn the water into wine. As it's mostly desert, I think he turned the water into oil. That's what happened. Although that would just prove that he was American. Sorry. Oh dear. Political and religious jokes. It's always a risk on a religious holiday with me, because I can't help but rip the mickey out of both. Does neither make any sense to me. Yes. I see more babies. Yes, I see more baby showy dwellies. That's what they were getting upset about the other day. That's what the grumbling was about. There's more babies in there. Oh, and Aqua Garden Zen is making breakfast. Some fried eggs by the look of it. And sunny side up, I believe that is. Oh, pardon me. Someone opened a drain. Doing sunny side up. And when they're done, flip them over for about 15 seconds just to make sure the top of the white is cooked. Any longer than that and the yolk can start to solidify, and you've got to have a runny yolk in a fried egg. The only time an egg yolk should not be runny is in a hard-boiled egg. And the only time you have hard-boiled eggs, it's 2 times. 3. I'll give you 3. Scotch eggs, sliced up to go in sandwiches, or because you messed up and forgot to set the timer for 3 minutes. That's the only reason you get hard-boiled eggs. Oh, and pickled eggs as well. So basically, if you're eating eggs hot, put that in there. If you're eating eggs hot, the yolk should be runny. Scrambled eggs are good as well, but again, just cooked. Literally just cooked. 15 seconds can be the difference between scrambled eggs and a pan full of rubber, which is nasty. And don't do scrambled eggs in the microwave. I know it's quick and easy, but they just come out like rubber. Oh, Bruiser, government brought in a beetle to kill off another invasive bug, and now it's killing our honeybees. Oh, jeez. Haven't seen a bee in years. It's almost like someone didn't do their research there, isn't it? Very like someone didn't do their research there. Evening, folks. Evening, Danny boy. Oh, Danny boy. The pipes are calling. There we go. That's kind of a tradition. I have to do that. How goes it, Dan? I'll take it you managed to explain away the joke from last week without too much embarrassment. Lots of little weird critters, saltwater tank, information overload. I've heard that about saltwater tanks. Hello, Debs. How are you, my dearie? Andrew likes his eggs snotty. Not overdone. Yeah, that'd be when you become a wrestler, Dan. Oh, yeah. the Undertaker or whoever is the current big star coming into some hard rocking theme, and then you just come wandering out with a fishnet to "Oh Danny Boy." That would be funny. But yeah, saltwater tanks, weird critters. I hear that quite a bit. A lot of it, I think, from what I can gather from my limited research into getting salty, other than what I do naturally, is live rock can contain lots of little beasties. Things like aptasia and worms and all sorts of weirdness, which is probably what is part of it keeping it alive. Their waste is what the bacteria is living on. But then obviously it's stuff you don't actually want in your tank unless you have species that eat those things. And if you have species that eat those things, they soon run out and then starve. So yeah, it's a tricky one. It's not something I've done. I'm not sure whether I'd go the live rock route and just hope and pray I didn't get any nasties, or whether I would start from a sterile environment, as it were, and just cycle it. Don't know if you saw that. The flame went right up my nose. Yeah, as I say, salty isn't something I'm overly familiar with. Most I understand is a fowler tank, fish only live rock. But yeah, it looks a lot more work to me. A lot more faffing about with mixing things, and in this corner, weighing at 650 plecos, Danny Boy the Danny-O Destroyer. With his patented finishing move. What will be the finishing move? It'd be the net over the head, wouldn't it? Just a fishnet. You cannot escape from my fishnet of doom. Net slam, exactly. Or just a sack whack with the net. That'd do the trick. Yeah, there'd be the other wrestlers going under the ring to pull out chairs and ladders, and Dan goes under there and pulls out a fishing net. That'd be the way. So yeah, more work and way harder to do breedy in a salty tank, as far as I'm aware, unless you're doing corals, and then apparently is a lot of work to keep a tank suitable for corals, and you've got to break them up and super glue bits to bits of tile or whatever it is, and job done. I'm assuming there's slightly more to it than that, but that's the basic theory. I mean, it wouldn't take a huge amount, I don't think, for me to switch probably the Shelly Flex over to salt water. I mean, it's already got plenty of rock in there and sand, so that's a start. Just add salt water and some kind of filter goop from an LFS that's got salty tanks, and see how we go. Then I'd have to buy either salt water pre-mixed or RO water, and then mix my own salt water and watch more things that sting. Yes. Yes, and being allergic to wasps, I really don't want to find out what things that live in salt water have the same sting as a wasp. Also, the fish are probably more bitey as well, I think. Um, so the only things that have bitten me fish-wise is what the angelfish I had bit me. Um, Shellies have bitten me. We won't count the live bearers. They're just trying to eat the arm hair, thinking it's algae. Oh, and Spaz the Biker, he bit me as well, but that was because I was catching him and he wasn't very happy about it. I'd been chasing him around with a net for about 5 minutes trying to get him, and trying to get a biker into a net is a bit tricky. So I went with the catch him by hand option, which worked a lot quicker and easier, but he gave me a good bite. Yes, Spaz finger snacks, exactly. Yes, he was a good boy, was Spazzy boy. There wouldn't be any Limia in that tank now if I still had him, because he would have cleared them all out overnight probably. All the neons. Don't know about the Cories, he might have had some of them as well. And the plecklets. Yeah, basically anything smaller than a full grown XL swordtail was Spaz Snacks. And Yellow's been a member for 8 months. Yes. And guppy people still get upset when I do refer to her as Biter Bites or Spaz Snacks. Here he is. Yes. It's Zacky Boy and it was Sparky Doodle. Neither of which are with us now, but well, Zach is, he's still around. He was snuffling Mary's toes earlier when she was trying to sleep. And I do occasionally sort of see Sparky Doodle sitting under her favourite bush, or hear her meow occasionally. When you know the cats well, you can tell the difference between their meows. How is it to do the member thing yelling? Yeah, they just did. I have no idea. It might be if you go to super chat, there's an option. I think that might be where it is. Oh, and I think Yellow just blocked send for some random reason. I'm sure that was completely accidental. And Quirky's here. How you doing? Let's see, what options do we have? Um, it's not giving me any options to undo any timeout or delete messages that Yellow has managed to do. Probably butt dialing. I hit him. There we go. I was guessing it was an accident or a jokey joke thing rather than anything nasty, because that's not the kind of person you are, and it's not the kind of person Rick is. Oh, there we go. Dan's just showing off there. Look, 17 months. Thank you very much, Dan, for your prolonged membership. Was it under the super chat thing? Sweating and sweat dipped on the phone. You're my first member. Oh. Right. First and therefore the biggest member. accidentally, and a bit of a sweat drip. You're not doing your squats again, are you, Yella? It's not the sight and sound of me. It just makes you want to squat up and down all day. Oh dear, no. That's a nasty thought. Right. Is there anything else we can talk about? Or is it just me random waffling for another hour and a half? Hmm. Random waffle sounds good, but then I've got to think about things to waffle about for an hour and a half, and that's where I get myself in trouble. Um, people will turn off. If in doubt, burp. So yes, yeah. Surfing through Reddit earlier this week, and there was a surprising amount of people who were upset that shops are going to be closed today. You're always welcome to pitch tents, Marriott. You know that. So I won't say no to a bit of camping, especially while I'm sat down. Andrew's always in trouble. Yes, but now the people were complaining that the shops were going to be shut on Easter Sunday. It was like they always are. Retail workers get 2 days off a year: Christmas Day and Easter Sunday. They're the only 2 days we can pretty much guarantee to have off. And that's only if you work in a big enough shop. If you work in a little convenience store, chances are it's going to be open. Because your boss will be an arse. All the other shops are closed. We'll best be open, and then we'll get all their business. But yeah, so people are like, oh, it's really bad. No, I don't know why they would do it. It's like, because we want a day off. It's really inconvenient for me if the shops are closed. Tough. Organise yourself. Get the stuff done Friday or Saturday, and then you don't have to worry about it on the Sunday. It's like yesterday evening, I got home from work. I rushed back, did my jobs, then went out and got back because I knew the places I would get it from would be closed today. Yeah, a little bit of forethought and planning, and it's not a problem. I mean, I remember when everywhere was shut on a Sunday. The only places that were open was a news agent, so you could get paper in the morning and a pint of milk. But that was it. Everywhere else, other than like pubs and restaurants, was shut on a Sunday. Wasn't a problem. We just worked around it. That and the half-day closing on a Wednesday. Exactly. Sunday trading was the worst thing to happen. And oh dear. Yeah, you don't gain anything from it. It's the same with the whole 24-hour trading thing as well. All that does is it means that you get less people in throughout the day, because you're going to get the same amount of people come in, but the later at night or the earlier in the morning it is, the worse people you're going to get come in, because they're going to be the ones who are drunk, high, stoned. Yeah, exactly. There's only so much money to spend. I get that it can be awkward if you're working retail and the only times you're off work, all the other stores are closed, that could be a problem. Which is why generally retail workers have days off during the week. Because most people work a 5-day week ish. I'll do 4, but and you might get one of your weekend days off. That would change generally. I got really lucky and I have an understanding boss who understands that I do things on a Sunday, but I'm available to work any other time. So I generally end up working Saturdays. But you'll get your days off during the week. So you can then go and do what you need to do on those days off. It kind of works well. It generally means when I go shopping, the shops are fairly empty. It's not busy. It's 225 squats. And I'd be lucky to do 1 squat. Me too. I can get down there. I just have to have something to pull myself up on, because my knees wouldn't take it. My knees would go, nope, not happening. I mean, if I'm down on, say, the ground, getting up is quite an achievement. All shops closed on Wednesday, opening up a few hours on Saturday and closed again until tomorrow. There you go. That's a better way of doing it. Because, I mean, the only reason the shops are closed in the UK on Easter Sunday is because the church said it had to be, because it's a religious holiday. So, there's one thing I'm kind of glad about Christianity, but there's and from what I recall of the arguments for everywhere being open all the time, it was all younger people who don't remember what it was like before everywhere was open. We still managed to get everything done. When it first started, I did 3 squats in 15 minutes. I think I could probably do 3 squats in 15 minutes. Any more than that would probably be a bit difficult. And there will probably be large amounts of wind going on as well. No, I wonder what that beep was. Just Mary saying she's home. And she gets to drive home in the daylight now. And it won't be long before I'm always coming home from work in the light, which will be nice. Not having to have the bike lights on and keep charging them up when they go flat at the most inopportune times. And having to keep a head torch in my bag so that if a bike light decides it's going to go flat, then I can use the head torch instead, because that's got a white and a red light. Because yes, law over here is if you're on a bicycle and it's dark, you have to have lights. And that doesn't stop all the youngsters zooming about without lights on their bike, but I'd rather not have to deal with the police stopping me for something silly like that. So, and as I cycle past the police station on my way home from work, it's common sense, really. Although I did see one the other day, no lights, no reflectors, but they were wearing a helmet. I have no idea. Ride my bike everywhere. Well, I say everywhere. Anywhere within, say, 4 or 5 miles, I'll ride my bike. Generally, because there isn't any public transport around here. Yeah, I'll either ride my bike or I'll walk. It's easy enough to do. I'm not saying I'll ride fast. I'm not zooming along like a crazy person. But I mean, what is it? Mile and a half to work, and it takes me about 5 minutes. It's purely pedal power, no electric. I say old-fashioned. It's a good old mountain bike with front and rear suspension and 21 gears. Probably get one out on an electric bike. But you do still have to pedal. That's the thing with the electrics. It's an electric assistance. So you pedal and the motor kicks in. If you stop pedaling, the motor kicks out. Just makes hills a lot easier mostly. But not a huge amount of hills around here. Yeah, quite happily trundle around on my bike, especially this time of year. In the middle of summer, it gets a bit warm, and in the winter, it can get a bit cold. Well, in the winter, it can be a problem because you dress up to keep yourself warm in the cold weather, then you start cycling, and then you get a sweat on. Not a good combination. Hangs a can of Monster on a stick in front, pedals like mad, trying to catch it. Yeah, not quite, but yeah. I mean, let's just say I cycle to work a lot quicker than I cycle home. And I always leave plenty of time. There's no rush. Don't want to go getting where you're going all out of breath and sweaty. Energy drinks and ciggies, yes. Exactly. And yes, I can relight a cigarette while cycling. That's an art. Make a joke about dangling a fag out. Now, if you stick the fag behind me, that might work. If you're going for that joke. Sensors, bots, algorithms, whatever. We're using that term in the English vernacular, where it is an abbreviation for cigarette. Before anyone gets upset, I know, yeah, some people do get upset about these things and tend to report them, and then someone looks into it. So, disclaimer: I'm English. I use English words. They are not the same definitions as American words. Usually, sometimes the same word is even spelt differently. You got down to me cigarette, exactly. I mean, I'm putting it down now. There's no money on it, just a gentleman's bet, gentleman's wager. At some point, an English actor, singer, YouTuber, or influencer, celebrity, whatever, is going to get cancel cultured for saying fag and meaning a cigarette. Someone's going to take it out of context. It's going to blow up all over the incel pages on Reddit, face sake. And then we need to get rid of this filth. There'll be everyone over the age of 25 going, oh, for fuck's sake. Trying to explain to the younger generation that no, this is not a bad thing, this is not offensive. Just because you take offence at it, it doesn't mean everyone else does. Same way as there are some people who believe that if you say you're not too big to put over my knee, when they say something cheeky to you as an older male, they think that means you want to spank them. They think that's a sexual thing. Really? Anyone seen Lee since he streamed Monty Python? Lee, which Lee? Is it legal in the UK to spank other people's kids inside Walmart? It's not legal to spank your own kids in the UK. Although there's probably more spanking of monkeys would go on inside out Asda than spanking of children. Yes, is there? I mean, I get that there's a fine line between a smack on the butt as a punishment or a discouragement or whatever you want the reasoning to be. There is a fine line between that and child abuse. Yeah. A whack on the butt, it will stop you doing something dumb as a kid. And let's be honest, all us adults here have probably been smacked on the butt for doing something dumb at some point. Some of us more regularly than others. But even that is frowned upon nowadays. You know, I got hit by teachers, so not only legal, it's encouraged. I mean, I kind of understand it. I say, because when I was little and growing up, it was kind of an unwritten rule that adults were allowed to chastise children, shall we say. So if a kid was misbehaving, any given adult could step in and stop it. Usually another parent. But nowadays you can't. Hammergad, M&C Aquatics. How are you? So I hope all is well with you. Hope things are going diddly. Yeah, exactly. I did as well. And you know what it taught us? Didn't teach us not to misbehave. Taught us not to get caught. That's the important lesson there. Didn't teach us not to be naughty. It just taught us not to get caught doing it. That's the still had the cane when I was invented. I mean, I think I was literally like the first or the second year at school where caning was illegal, or slippers or all that kind of thing. So yeah, they were still hanging up on the wall behind the teacher's desk. There'd still be the cane hanging there or the slipper. You don't need to ask to post Mike's link. Post it away. Mike, he needs the help, so post the linkage, because we are nice folks in the Fishy Fam, and we help our friends out where we can. And even if you're not a fan of the person, because I know not everyone gets on with everyone, or we're all different people. We all have different tastes in people that we get on with. We have different friend groups, all that kind of stuff. Won't you please think of the fish? That's the one thing all the Fish Fam have got in common. Fish. So if someone's struggling and may well lose their home, even if you're not a fan of the person, although there's no reason why I wouldn't be a fan of Mike, you're helping the fish out as well. Now he's waiting for Yella to find the link in his big old pile of linky poos, and he'll post it in the chat. I believe I saw Lee in Craig's stream Saturday morning. Howdy, Laser. How you doing? Good to see you. But yeah, which Lee are we talking about? Have I ever lit the filter side of a cigarette? More times than I care to mention. Which is why I always roll them the same way round. That way, I always pick it up the right way around. It always goes in my mouth filter end first these days. But yeah, I've lit the filter end, or smoked it so far down that I started smoking the filter. That's not a good one either. Well, I shall read it out in case people don't. Mike, a member of the Tennessee Fish Mafia, is in need. Medical issues resulted in him being unable to work and is struggling financially to maintain a roof over his head. There we go. So if you were thinking of sending me a super chat, click that linky poo for Mike's PayPal and send it to Mike. Or, I wouldn't say no. But yes, Mike is more in need of it than I am at the moment. Although once I get that back garden cleared, I'm going to have to get the fence replaced, and that's not going to be cheap these days. Hello. Rapunzel, let down your hair. Hello, Adele. How are you, my dearie? Hope all is well down under. I mean, in Australia, not that down under. Adele is here. And apologies for missing your streamies this week, Adele. I've been weird timings for me. Not your streams. I've been on weird timings at work, so my schedule's been well out of whack. I've either been asleep or at work when people have been streaming this week, I think. Or desperately trying to catch up on jobs. Going to be fun tomorrow as well because I'm working at 12:06. So at some point I've got to get the water changes in the fry rack done. Now, do I do it before work or do I do it after work? A whole string of emojis for some reason coming up the side of the page. Hearts and pass. Someone's randomly. I have no idea how that happens. There's a whole bunch of emojis just going up in the chat. So you get used to a standard routine. Oh, was that you? Was it then? You get used to sort of a standard routine, right? These are the hours I work and the days I work. And when that kind of gets changed about, it kind of puts you're like, well, I normally do this then and this then. All goes a bit pear-shaped. Then when you do get your day off and you're just like feeling like, ugh. And then you go back to work and you realise you haven't done your laundry or this or that. Or oh well, I just have to deal with me being a bit stinky next week. That's what they get for changing my hours around. Next week's even weirder. I've got a couple of 7-hour shifts and a 4-hour shift. Not quite sure why, but As always, Yella is very happy to see Adele, who looks like multi-tank addiction. His online favourite Sheila. Everyone's favourite Sheila. Question is, are you her favourite Bruce? I think Adele is mostly a Bruce-free zone at the moment. Yes, go off to the museum. I say not museum. We did pop out today to go to the garden centre because Mary wants some plants and I need a couple of bits. But the garden centre was shut, so it was like, oh bugger. Well, we just driven here, so quick pull out the phone, see if there's anything interesting, maybe close by. Literally, like half a mile down the road was a church, so we stopped in there. I didn't have my camera with me, so I didn't film anything, and I've not done any research either. So Mary took a few pictures, we had a wander around, and we went, hang on, all that land over there looks like, is this where Kilverston Wildlife Park used to be? Yeah, it was. Sarah. Hello, Sarah. How are you? Happy Eostre to yourself. Travelling at the moment. Take care and catch up later. Well, drive safe. Don't eat the bunny eggs. They're a bit too crunchy. They're high fibre though, so they'll probably be good for you. I mean, after all, they're about 80% partially digested hay, so there's definitely worse species of animal poop to eat than a rabbit. Definitely don't try the cat eggs or the hedgehog eggs. Yes, we've got hedgehogs around here, and there's one that's decided that the area where I park my bike is hedgehog toilet. And there's, make sure you get all the eggs. Jeeves will be back in 3 days. Yep, then someone will have to go for the headshot because that's the only way you can take down a zombie. Yeah. What dies and comes back after 3 days? The undead. That's what. There's a necromancer involved there somewhere. Jeeves is back tomorrow. Yeah. So whatever you do tomorrow, hide your nail guns. And don't play Jesus Christ Pose by Soundgarden either. That might upset some people. I think I might have to play it tomorrow. Good Friday to Easter Monday. 3 days. Wife and I are on season 7 of Game of Thrones. I think that's as far as I got up to. I don't think I saw the last season. I think I kind of gave up. Or was I unemployed when it came out on DVD? I think I was out of work when it came out, and it was like, no, I'm not spending that much. It's probably about a tenner now, but I haven't got a DVD player, so I'll have to wait. Well, technically I have. I don't really fancy watching a movie on my laptop. Movie or entire season of Game of Thrones. Because because yeah, I'm that person. If I buy a DVD box set, I watch the DVD box set like over the weekend. You know, like 26 episodes of NCIS or something in 3 days is quite easy to do. Trying to think when I stopped watching Bones. I think I was about season 6 or 7 as well. It just kind of got, and a lot of the characters I like got taken out of the show. So it happens. Castle I got all the way to the end of. Have you ever seen The Boys? If not, what's wrong with you? I've not. Is that Prime or Netflix? If it's Netflix, I don't do Netflix. If it's Prime, I haven't bothered to re-download Prime TV on my Xbox because I don't watch. Yeah, thought it was. I've seen adverts, but you know, I just don't really go in for watching TV or movies anymore these days. It's sort of just, I don't know, struggle to maintain my attention. Plus, you know, I'd rather have a nap, to be honest. Might get around to downloading it at some point. I think end of May I've got 2 weeks off, so I load an APK and pirate the show in Minecraft. Yeah, it was APKs and Minecraft. No. Don't know what an APK is, and I don't have Minecraft. There's more chance of me buying Minecraft than downloading Minecraft. Anything illegal within Minecraft and you can't be charged. Would that be because it's free? Yeah. I've seen a couple of videos of people doing things on Minecraft, and it was like, no. Don't see the point. I'd rather download Skyrim and play through that again, I think. Or Fallout 3 or 4 or Oblivion or... And this kind of Prime is okay, Adele. It's not made by Seachem. This kind of Prime is not claiming to be magical. The people who use it aren't claiming it's magical. And from what I understand, it doesn't smell like rotten eggs either. Minecraft is ace like virtual Lego. Yeah, it's one of those things. I've seen it and it just never really appealed. Basically, in a game, I like to have an end goal in sight. Completing it, reaching a certain level, whatever it is. If there's no end goal, then I soon lose interest. For instance, I'm going to burn down your house in Minecraft. Well, as long as you do it in Minecraft, I don't mind. Last bit of the Resident Evil 2 remake, been having a great time. So I remember playing that when it came out. Was that PS2? It was 2 discs, wasn't it? One disc was the dude's story, one disc was the girl's story. Yeah, that was a really cool game. Yeah, got really good at shooting zombies in the head. and finding keys. And figuring out my way around police stations. Was it Resident? Yeah, it was Resident Evil 2. You start off in the police station, don't you? And then you end up in a big facility underground. Yeah. Well, so over here, at least with Amazon Prime, you do get next day delivery, providing you check that the thing you're ordering is actually coming from Amazon, not someone else. Right, at times I hear people complain about that. I've ordered something that doesn't come from Amazon, because it actually says at the top, Amazon Prime. We can even filter for Amazon Prime. Oh, okie dokie, have a good night, Marrett. Stay safe. Good night, Kissy. Mwah. Can't remember what I pay. I think it's about £6 or £7 a month, I think, for Prime. Admittedly, at the moment, I've not been ordering too much, but especially when I was ordering a whole heap of stuff. Then it certainly was worth it. But yeah, I've not been double charged for it. I keep getting the email saying that my payment method is soon to expire. I'm like, that card expired like 5 years ago. And you're charging me under the other card, so don't worry about it. But again, you go in there and it won't let you delete the old card. So it's just a case of delete one email a month, which, given the grand scheme of the amount of emails I just delete, adds a second. So, you know. Well, yeah. Screw all the super rich multi-billionaires who. My main issue with them is how they treat their staff. You think, if you're making that much money, you can afford to pay your staff more and employ more staff so they don't have to work as hard. Give them better breaks and care and benefits, and treat them better. The thing with that, Yellow, is back in the day, the rich people were the fat people. Nowadays, the rich people are the skinny ones. Thought I was deleting emails or swiping right. Turns out I've been archiving them all 6 years. Probably what I've been doing then. But hey, they disappear off of the screen of emails that I haven't read yet, so that's good enough for me. Because most of them are for, it's either the such and such place has got a special offer, or such and such posted on YouTube, or such and such posted on Facebook, or someone commented on your comment on Reddit, or where I've signed up in the past for various job websites, and now I don't go on them because I have a job and they still tell me there are jobs available. Or various other tosh you get sent. Got a big clear out to do. At some point, I'll probably just get a new phone when the memory's full. I do. There are 2 male electric blue Akara in there behind me somewhere. hiding. Oh, now one hiding up down there, and one up in this corner. But yes, pair of Lecky Blue Cara males, Bert and Ernie, bestest friends. Up until like 3 days out of the month when they get the horn and start arguing with each other about who's the most manly. Do a bit of lip locking and that's about it. Other than that, they're no trouble. They don't eat babies, they don't eat eggs, don't dig up plants or eat plants. They're just very friendly, happy fishies. There's far worse fish to think about. Let's see if we can find one. Let's see if we can find them in the camera. Through all the algae that's on the glass on there that I need to clean off. Ooh. There's one. I'll hide it fine. This is my favourite snoozy hole down here. And the other one is somewhere in amongst that. You can see by the amount of linear fry in there, they're not eating the fry. There are some really small ones as well. See if we can find. Oh, escape bristlenose. Really ickle fry. You don't want to see the angles on that holding this camera here. Are there any? Oh, yeah, there we go. Teeny tiny Libya fry. A few days old. But yeah. Happy Caras, don't touch them. Oh. More escape bristly noses. And spotty. Yeah, Phantom likes fish. Get the grass cut. Or that grass or that overgrown mess out there. Kitchen, you don't want to see that. And then Shelly Dwellies. This Shelly Dwellies is cool. Do we have any baby Shelly Dwellies out? There we go. See if we can get them roughly in the centre of the picture. Yeah, teeny tiny baby Shelly Dwellies. Better not cut down your hiding spot. Oh, adult Shelly Dwellies. Nom 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 nom. Yes. Streamception. I'll leave your little den amongst the brambles, Yellow. Well, I have to because with the birds nesting in it at the moment. Yeah, we've got blackbirds again and blue tits and sparrows and the goldfinches as well. It's not the yelling that it gives away the hiding spot, where it's the windmilling that's the problem. He stands there, puts his hands behind his head and windmills. It's kind of disconcerting sometimes. Most of the time it's just arousing though. Yes, I was waiting for the jokes about blue tits. Let me see. A flavour of birdie that is native to the UK. A very pretty little I think they're a finch. Pretty little songbirds. Coming up next on Only Fins. Yes, the yellow windmill. Slightly different to the pink windmill. That was an emu. Was that emu or just grot bags? Trust me, I make more money out of this than I would do out of OnlyFins. Ain't no one gonna be paying to see that. Got a pink sock. I've seen that one. It's it stands up on its own now, doesn't it? Good and crunchy. Oh dear. I mean, I suppose a pink sock is better than a velvet glove. Other word for a prolapse. Yes, I just never bothered with the euphemism for that. Yes, and yes, I've seen videos of that as well. Do not Google prolapse massage, whatever you do. Just saying. Again, not kink shaming, but definitely not for me. And then right as I say that, don't kink shame me. We all have our kinks, is what makes us us. I mean, oh, here we go. Happy Cara out and about. Playing silly buggers, no doubt. Or just got to hide up in front of the filter. Silly creature. One thing I will say about electric blue Acaras, they aren't the smartest of fish. They are a bit on the dumb side. Well, mine are anyway. I know why Donkey was, because Donkey gave himself blooming brain injuries. Pretty much what killed him in the end. Kept smacking his head into things. Just be sat there and you hear a bang. And you're like, what you swum into now? Like something made him jump and he'd swim straight into the glass or one of the tree trunks in there, or jump straight into the roof of the lid of the tank. You dumbass. What are you doing? But, yeah. Definitely don't put dual cichlids with electric blue Acaras. Even though the Acaras are 2 or 3 times the size, they will lose the fight. And they're probably the toothiest fish I've got, and they've not bit me. So, howdy all, happy Easter, Ostada. Can't say what to say hi to my hero, Sharpe. Howdy, Tommy, you pinball wizard, you. And happy Eostre to you too. And yeah, Silver Queef. And I can't do it properly. I think I know I did a video on Happy Caras a species profile. I know Dan has as well, and Dan's bred the little things as well. So yeah, they're a very popular fish, and they're actually surprisingly cheap now. And when I got mine, they were quite expensive, but they suddenly got really popular, and the price came down rapidly. I think because a lot of people started breeding them. I just got really unlucky and bought 3, and they all turned out to be male. I mean, I bought them when they were now about that big, and they're now big old chunks. Yeah, they so chill, it's unreal. And so it's a good sized cichlid that is not a plant destroyer. So always a good combination. A very good centerpiece fish for a larger tank. Pardon me. That is one of the. I mean, there's all sorts of problems that fish keepers have, but if you've got a larger tank that's a community and it's planted, finding a good centerpiece fish is a bit tricky, because you either end up with an angelfish that everyone's done, or electric blue acaras. At my wife's grandpa's house, everyone's saying their final goodbyes to him. May have a day or 2 left. Not to be down, he lived an amazing and busy life, and he deserves the rest. Well, my sympathies to you and your wife's families, and to your grandpa. I'm sure, as you say, he has left an amazing and interesting and full life. And more a celebration of his life than commiserating upon eventual passing. So, why did I say that so weird? I have no idea. But yes, big hug, Tommy. Oh, thank you, Dan. Now stick your bloody link up there as well. I know I have to keep telling you to do it, but yeah, exactly. That's what I'd rather have, a celebration of life rather than some miserable thing where you're down in Mountain Dew and chocolate pie. Yes, attaboy. You know, there's a point. It's just I'm making the joke, and I'm sure you'll understand I'm not being too irreverent. But what's the worst is going to do? You know, what's the worst that drinking Mountain Dew and eating chocolate pie is going to do at this point? It's, and tell him hi from some weird Brit. And if he wants to haunt anyone, he can come and say hello. Yeah. In all seriousness, if you're wanting to watch videos about electric blue acaras, I do recommend Mr. Daniel Keeping Fishes video. And as he seems unwilling to post his own video, Yellow, my friend, would you please see if you can find Daniel Keeping Fishes species profile video on electric blue acara and post a link, just to embarrass him a little, because it's a wonderful video. Yeah, I say, you spend time with the family, Tommy. It's the right thing to do. We'll all be here when you get back. You know, if you have a family that you love and you get on with and everything's great, keep it that way. Coming from me, who doesn't have family that I remotely care about or anything like that, you know, if you got family you care for and love, keep hold of them. Be there when they need you. Having a smoke break. Well, in that case, I'll have on with you. Thank you very much, Yella. And there is the far superior electric blue Akara video. And no Mountain Dew, but consider that in Grandpa's honour. Mountain Dew hasn't got enough caffeine in it for me. Or sugar. Yes, we do have a different ingredients list. Recipe, that's the one I was looking for. A different recipe for Mountain Dew in the UK because some of the colourings are banned over here. Not superior, don't listen, just different. You do things like editing, Dan, and like get better shots, which is what people want to see. Anyone can do waffly voiceovers and read some notes about a fish. That's really not hard. Literally just Google the fish's name, click on one of the links, it'll tell you all about it, and then you just... I mean, I don't literally read off the page. I take notes so that I can't be... So it's not direct plagiarization. I'm actually making it my own. But yes, the better cinematography and well, yeah, far superior editing skills because I have none. I'll say different range of styles. There's different strokes for different folks. We all like different things. There are YouTube channels that people keep telling me, "Oh, you got to watch this. You got to watch this," and I watch, and after about 5 minutes, I just don't like the presenter. You know, they're too high energy for me. I'm not talking fishy videos. I'm talking other stuffs. You know, so I'm not a fan of the paranormal videos where people get all hyper and excited and start running around and screaming about demons just because something made a slight noise. Could you imagine what would happen if, like, Ghost Adventures came to the UK and I was part of the crew? Everyone freaking out at me, is going, "What? It's just a ghost." Huh? Yeah, don't bother me. Can you spend a night in this house? If you want 8 hours footage of me just snoring, then yeah, go for it. Sorry, Dan, it's always a shock when I hear people I've never heard before speak. When I read your comments, it's in my American accent. Quite surprised to hear you talk British. Even better, Dan talks London. With a smidgen of Scots in there. Sorry, a wee bit of Scots in there now. The anticlimax of ghost hunting. Yeah, it would be. It'd either be like, "Oh, he's so brave," or is he even aware what's going on? So we got a gust at work as well, and freaks other people out. And I was like, "Oh, hi, how you doing? Yeah, I know you're there. Don't worry about it. Yes, I'm not scared of you." I think he just doesn't like loud women. That's the issue. He doesn't bother the blokes. It's just certain women he throws things at. But what was really funny is one of my colleagues was doing research on finding out who it was. Mumbling Londonish. Yeah, I just waffle in Norfolkish. So there we go. Yeah, one of my colleagues was doing some research into the ghost that is haunting our workplace. And they pulled up this video on their phone because we know who it is. Um, Mostly because I figured it out. But they pulled up this video on their phone about it. I found this video all about the ghost we got and what happened and all this stuff. And they hit play, and I'm thinking, I know that voice. And I look over the show, and I'm thinking, I know that shrimp tank. I was like, you haven't recognised that voice, have you? Yeah. No. Okay. How about this? Howdy, peeps, and welcome back to the channel. I just looked at me and went, oh, I'm like, yeah, that's my video. Yes, my video on that was the first one that came up on Google. So, what? Chuck Tingle protagonist. Thought Londonish was just about a Pakistani and random European. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just be glad it's not living Cockney. Because I'm British and I'm from the South originally, and yeah, Cockney rhyming slang doesn't make too much sense to me either. If the way it works is you take a word, let's say stairs, because that's an easy one. So you think of a word that rhymes with stairs. You think, well, what rhymes with stairs? Pears. You think, well, what goes with pears? Well, apples. So you have apples and pears is stairs, but then that gets abbreviated, but you drop the rhyme. So instead of I'm going upstairs, you got I'm going up the apples. Which, unless you know it, makes no sense. Not a lot of people know that. My name is Michael Caine. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. Happy Easter, Ricky. How you doing? Hope all is good and you're not quite as drunk as you were last week. How was the hangover, by the way? One is only supposed to blow the bloody doors off, as in perceived English. Happy Eostre, Bun Bun. Hope you're well as well. I'm Van Dabby Dozy. Mwah for Bunny. Don't get hangovers, I'm pro. I never used to get hangovers either. I just never sobered up. Just stay drunk and then you don't get a hangover until you realise you have a serious alcohol problem. And then you have to sober up. And then you get a major hangover because you've been drunk for 3 years. Whoa, that's not good. I think my liver's kind of coming back to normal now after nearly 20 years. Don't get hangovers, just beer flu and the doom. So it happens to most of us where going out and getting absolutely wrecked, coming back and the hangover lasts you like Sunday morning. That's fine, you can deal with that. because then by the time Monday rolls around, you're all back to normal again. Then you get to a certain point where the hangovers start lasting all of Sunday and into Monday, and then it stops becoming fun anymore. Or you get to the point where you've actually got stuff that you need to do on the Sunday, and you're like, oh God, oh. No, I can't stand the thought of cleaning out a canister filter feeling like this, or as it was back then, like mowing the lawn or whatever. Exactly. The older you get, the longer the hangover lasts, and the less alcohol it takes to get the hangover. And all this talk of being out on the piss. I'll be back in a minute. Oh. We are back. My Easter egg, all ribbed for pleasure. Have to, right. Oh, that's it. Wine hangovers are the worst. Yeah, never mix the grape and the grain. Yeah. And if you really want a proper hangover, snake bite. Half pint of beer and half pint of cider, topped off with blackcurrant in the same pint. Oh. But the absolute worst, scrumpy cider. You'll never have a worse hangover than proper scrumpy cider. But yeah, 2 pints of water before bed if you've been drinking. Yes, because you're dehydrated. That's what the hangover mostly is. Alcohol poisoning and dehydration. With a Pernod chaser. Oh. Last thing you want after your kebab is aniseed. Oh. It might clear out the kebabiness from your mouth. That kind of thick, cloyy, greasy stuff. I think I'm going to be pulling apart the hop filter and putting a bag of floss in it. Yeah, bag of filter floss never hurt anything filter-wise. Certainly do far more good than a bunch of fancy rocks. Because you know what, it'll actually filter stuff out of the water. There's so much made these days of biological filtration that people forget about the actual mechanical filtration, which is the main reason you have a filter. Throwing up Jaeger is terrible. I can beat that. Creme de menthe milkshake. The creme de menthe is a mint liqueur. Delicious if you like mint. And yeah, don't add it to a mint milkshake. Then drink said mint milkshake, and then wonder why about 2 hours later you're throwing up fluorescent green cottage cheese. Drinking Jaeger is horrible. Might as well drink NyQuil. Pretty much the same thing. Very high hemoglobin, so I don't get drunk easily, don't get hangovers. Yeah, lots of oxygenation going on. Yeah, there's not much hemoglobin in my nicotine and caffeine stream these days. Got 2 cartridges. Some reason I have diminished flow from the hob despite it being up full. I guess something's getting clogged in there then. If the flow's dropped, it's either you've got a decent sized bacterial colony in there that's clagging it up, or there's something clagging up the filter for sure. That's why, literally, by the end of the week, start of the week, when I do all my water changes, these all go clear. And by the end of the week, the filters are getting blocked up. So the filters are running slow, so there's less. Yeah. And so you get bacterial blooms going on later in the week. My hemoglobin count 22 in the ranges 14 to 18. Ooh, yeah, that is rather high. Definitely a red-blooded male. I think I bleed treacle. Do that too. Cut sponge to fit in mine. I actually tied it up, put the sponges away, because otherwise I'd have them sitting around. Yeah, I'd say is get yourself a pack of the egg crate pond filter sponge and cut them to size. You can get coarse, medium, and fine. Use the internal canisters. Yeah, I prefer internal filters as well, purely because no leaking. Easy one, obviously. But yeah, it's so easy to clean out generally, especially like the Fluval U series. You just pop the lid and pull the sponge, go squelch, squelch, squelch in your bucket and pop it back in and job done. Yeah, filter cleaning doesn't take forever. It can be a pig with external canisters, because you got to get underneath, pull it out, pop the lid, break the seal, then pour all the water out of the canister, and then clean off the sponges and the floss, and then stick it all back together, stick it under, plug it back in with a net over the outlet, so that all the bacterial gunk that comes out of the pipe again is now caught in your net, not floating around in the tank. Yeah, hobs don't give a lot of flow. Now, I mean, hobs are great for certain species, things like betters, and if you want to have a lot of floating plants, hobs are quite good for that, because they don't disturb the surface too much. But I mean, I'm one of those who, I'm not sure, when people go on about 5 times the capacity of the 5 times the capacity of the tank per hour is what you should aim for in flow. I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, that's a sensible number. But then there are people going, oh no, you need to double that or triple that. And, oh, I always make sure I've got 4 times the. I mean, that's got to be like living in a bloody washing machine. You can backwash the canisters, easy clean. Yeah, in my case, I just want to get the gunk out of sponges that builds up and check there aren't a bunch of baby fish or shrimp in there. Yes, I regularly find small fish inside filters. Considering a sponge filter as well, can't go wrong with a sponge filter. Easy to hide. zero maintenance really, other than just cleaning the sponge out. They don't necessarily break or go wrong. If they do, you just get another one. Yeah. You've got massive surface area for a bacterial colony to thrive. You've got, again, large amounts of mechanical filtration and aeration. And it's cheap and simple. Wonder why the power filter manufacturers don't like sponge filters, or why a lot of shops don't stock sponge filters, because they then don't sell the posh gravel and rocks, the replacement cartridges, the filter floss, replacement impellers, all the other bits that go wrong on a powered filter, seals. I know that's a sea lion, but whatever. Yes. Water gets sucked in, goes through the media, sponge, cleaned, blown out the top. Why make it more complicated? There's a whole, I mean, I understand why there's a lot talked about filtration, because it's a very important thing. But so much rubbish talked about it as well. So much overcomplication that is not required. What are those sponges called that look like lungs? The ones where you got like the centre pipe comes up and you got the two come off with the sponges either side. Yeah, I just call it a sponge filter. And there are the ones you can get with the little cups underneath that you can take off and chuck out whatever they've put in there and add a little bit of floss in there or an extra bit of sponge to increase the filtration levels. Because let's be honest, where the bacteria are going to live, they're going to live where there's easy access to food. Where is the easiest access to food in a filter? Where water first comes in? Not the last bit it gets to before it comes out of the filter, that's for sure. No, I know the ones you mean. I've got one around here somewhere. Just a sponge filter. Oh, yeah. Everyone click on Yellow's trick of his new trick that his papa learned. I say, it's literally just stick sponge filter into Amazon and one of them will pop up. I don't think they have a special name. They're the ones that suction cup to the back or the side of the tank, aren't they? Yeah, good little filters. Plenty of water flow, plenty of filtration, the oxygenation. There's one that's on the tank floor and the lungs on the wall. Yeah, I'll say there's all different designs, but they're just sponge filters. If it's an air-driven sponge filter, it's a sponge filter. The only time it's different is when the sponge is in a box. Then it's a box filter or a China filter. Depends on which YouTube channels you watch. And why are they known as China filters? Because that's where they all come from. I'll give you a clue. Said YouTube personality is just some dumb guy with a camera. And he calls himself that. Yeah, Michael's Fish Room, if you weren't aware. Yeah, so you can't really go wrong with the sponge filter. They just work. Only problem you do get is if your air pump packs up, but well, yeah, you get your stuff wholesale exactly. But for 99.9% of us, Ricky, first place we'd look is Amazon. Um, then you look around, you look, you go, oh right, that's what it is. That's what it's called. That's how much they're selling it for. Let's see what I can find locally and see if I can find it similar price. First couple of weeks, you didn't make the sound. Now she can bark on command. What a good girl. Although there is a joke in there about quiet females, it doesn't last long. Or it means you've done something wrong. Yeah, for the majority of us who don't have access to wholesale price lists, um, yeah, Amazon is generally the first place you look. But so then I have to figure out, right, what days am I off work? So I've got to order it that day, so it will turn up that day. So I'm actually here to receive it. So I know my neighbours will take the parcels in, not a problem. I'd just rather avoid it if I can. Yeah, sponges can fail if the air pump goes wrong, which is what I did film a video, he says, this week of me getting my Eheims air pump, pulling it apart, cleaning it all out, putting it back together to show how to do it. Because sometimes you'll get a reduced flow and things like that. And in my case, it's because of this. There's all the little felt filter pads in there get full of tar and nicotine. And like any filter, if it clogs up, you get lower flow. And with lower flow, yeah. So yeah, I filmed that on the GoPro, um, downloaded it to the computer, and realised for some reason the GoPro decided to split it into two videos. So as me no do um, edity, it's either going to be I'm going to have to wait till this one clags up and film this one on my other camera because that will do longer than 15 minutes on a video. 17 minutes for some reason. I think the GoPro decided to stop and restart it. But yeah, it's split it up into two videos. So I'll either upload part one and then part two, or I'll just refilm it with a different camera and do that. One box of sponge, I'm getting 50 pieces. It's around 30 rupee a piece for the large ones. Yeah, that's cheap. They're generally around £6 to £8 here, retail, for your more standard sizes. It's not something that as they get bigger, they get much more expensive either because they're generally made out of the same pieces. They just add an extra piece and a bigger bit of sponge. Yeah, Amazon, Fleabay, Alibaba, yeah, around 45p. Mm. Would you trust any aquarium equipment from Wish or Alibaba? Not from Wish or a sponge filter from Wish or Alibaba. I would because they can't screw that one up. Um, I certainly wouldn't buy like any of the better tanks you see, where it's like better waterfall tank, where it's like three little things that waterfalls over and it looks all pretty and lovely, and they've got three betters in it, and each of the tanks is like. I'm thinking, what's stopping those betters from jumping from one to the other and having a big fight and killing each other? Yeah, 30p, not 45. Well, what's 15p between friends? fairly decent pay rise. How's the black water tank doing? The black water tank is doing good. I did run out of tea bags this week, so it's not quite as black as it was, but fishies are happy in there. Missy Cara is looking very, very pretty at the moment. The neighbours are hammering on their kitchen wall. That's not a ghost, that is just the neighbours. You can't screw it up. Wish. Hold my beer. Pretty much. Yeah, you order a small, it comes in about that big. Yeah, to be fair, Patty there, how are you? Everybody, Patty's here, yay! Just as we're about to finish. No offense, Patty, but my time is up. So I do hope everyone had a wonderful Easter, Eostre, Ostara, Pashka, Pukas, Paka, and all the other various words for it, which all predate the usage of Easter. Don't eat too much chocolate. Stay safe. Have fun. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye. And as Sam says, Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Hurry up and hit the button, you dumbass. I'm not for you.